new heroes. Gyarados is not really a regular customer here in HGC China, and neither is Kel'Thuzad. In fact, we're going to have to wait for his very first appearance here. Now, second battleground is going to be Battlefield of Eternity. That is a straight-up comfort zone for a Super Perfect team. We have yet to see a team to take them out. 10-0, Tetcher. This is, I think, the second most scary-looking map after Dragonshire.
It definitely is. We made the argument of potentially it's better to play SPT on this map, but the fact is SPT are equally as good on both these maps. And for good reason. Let's see if BTG can be the combo breaker. So far, no one's been able to do it against SPT yet.
Yep. So far, SPT is one of the only teams in the league that can maintain their flawless records on Dragonshire and on Battlefield of Eternity alike. Tassadar getting banned out here. Actually, I would have argued that Beyond the Game could have gone for a Genji ban against Melody C here on this battleground, because we all know how deadly and how sneaky, most importantly, he can be. Almost like a real ninja. He went for those mid fountains, really crippling the enemy.
We haven't seen that in a while. I hope we get that.
Yeah. But of course, Beyond the Game, our first pick here in this draft, so they could just steal away the Genji themselves. No, they let it go through, and they go full EU Open Division style with that ETC first pick.
So let's see if we get the return of the Genji coming into the map, getting that Melody C mid-fountain kill at level 1. It's actually kind of sad, I will say, that we haven't seen another Cho'Gath, because I think SPT are willing to pick it still, but only when their first pick, because that way it can be their last pick and the other team don't have a huge amount of time to react to it. But the problem is, no one will pick Battlefield against them anymore. They have to pick it themselves. So
that's actually a very good point. Like, with Cho'Gath, you have to take the positioning in your drafting very much into account, probably more so than in any other composition. So them not being first pick really cripples their drafting process, because you allow the enemies to basically pick some counters for as their own last picks. So really good point. I hadn't even thought about it this way.
Indeed, indeed. So SPT first pick is Vala and Uther. Starting off very standard here. And there's no reason to all in the Genji. If you do that, you've sort of given away what strategy you're going for. So it's very reasonable here to just pick standard and adjust if you want to.
Exactly. ZZH, by the way, still missing his SPT jersey. I wonder what happened to it.
It might have got ripped or something. It's out for 2 days now, so not entirely sure.
What if they only have one jersey each, and if something happens to it, they're not going to have it for the rest of the season?
See, there are quite a few teams like that, to be fair.
Does that mean they're going to have to wear the same jersey 3 days in a row?
Maybe? I assume it's washed. I'd assume also that they have spares, but he's not wearing a team jersey, so maybe not. So
a traitor.
I don't know. There's too many variables in this scenario. But now we see a Rhaegar coming in and Greymane, the double dog duo, coming in, and with VTC as a beginning setup for them. That is a insane combo, and probably one of the most standard ones we have.
Etc. I don't know what it is. I don't know where it comes from, but I can smell something really cool coming up for SPT. And I'm not talking about the jerseys here, by the way. I'm talking about cool hero picks. I really think we're going to see something special.
You can smell some camembert, some Emmental. You got that stinky cheese.
Some stinky fine cheese. Yeah, you know, the stinkier the cheese is, the better it tastes.
Very true. Camembert is one of my favorite cheeses, and oh my god, that thing is ripe.
All right, thick and ripe. That's how we like our cheese. Now, no, I can sense something. I don't know what it is. I can see the likes of maybe Artanis coming in. I can feel maybe a Chromie, a Nazebo even. Like, they have played Nazebo on Battlefield in the past, but that was last season. So I can smell something's cooking.
Is Kendrick's cheddar on point today, or so far standard? Arthur's coming
Still got 2 more chances. Let's go. Don't disappoint me, SPT. Don't make me look like a goof.
So from the chat, yes, goat cheese is also really delicious and doesn't smell so bad. So big fan of goat cheese. It's very
healthy too.
It is, but I very much prefer it melted than I prefer it just standard, because normal goat cheese is just kind of meh. If you melt it, it's delicious.
Isn't goat cheese actually better for your overall
digesting,
absolutely, because it's easier to digest for your system?
Yes, very much so.
Here we go. All right, ladies and gentlemen, what are they going to go for? They take a little bit of time. They still need a solo laner, by the way. So we could see a Leoric, maybe a Dehaka. Go for the Kharazim right now. Okay, there's only one more hero that could look exotic. Maybe it's the Medivh, though. But then who would they send solo? Maybe Kharazim.
Others can solo. It just means they'd be tankless. So
yeah, and Kharazim is actually alright as a solo laner because he's got good sustain, good trading potential against the likes of Greymane.
It's a tough draft. SPT's draft is very standard for the moment. Yeah. So far, no cheese. BTG bringing out the Tyrael, attempting the same draft as last time. They steal the Genji. Same draft as last time, plus an ETC. Let's see if it works.
I mean, the theory behind it, we said it earlier, is fine, right? The theory behind it, going for those aggressive diving compositions, it's fine. Especially with that ETC providing even more lockdown and disruption with that knockbacks as well, or even the mosh pit. But they really need to work on those timings, and especially 619, should he play the Tyrael again, needs to work on his positioning as well, because he can't dive in that recklessly with being too far away from the ancestral healing. And also, if the Tyrael dives in deep all by himself, he can't really drop the signification just for himself, because the ideal way of using that heroic ability is to empower nearby allies and protecting them as well. See the Murden, okay, that's not exotic, but it's cool.
They could still cheese you with their picks. With their talent picks, so it's all good. We could see a Sledgehammer Muradin or a Haymaker Muradin, who knows?
Okay, Tetra, here's the thing, right?
The return of Haymaker Office.
Yeah, Haymaker Muradin against Dragon Blade Genji. Genji goes in, and you just knock him back, and he's all out of the danger zone. If he doesn't have Swift Strike ready, that is.
Yeah. If he Swift Strikes in, you hammer him out. I like the idea. Could be fun. They have double tank. Syndragosa is also an option. We saw it yesterday in the playoffs from one of our upper bracket finalists, Polska Pamięta. You remember Shichel? He came back and he returned with the Syndragosa. He was always one of the few players who was willing to pick that no matter what.
Yeah. Shichel, man, what a legend. Part of the old G2 roster, the Polish powerhouse.
Yeah, G2, and before that, 3D Max. They have been around for a while. Him and ADRD, only two original members of that, I believe.
You were right, by the way. I think you said yesterday on stream that they were Team Paper before that, like before 3D Max. And
were they? Yeah. Was I right? Was I right on that as well? Was I that many levels of correct?
I can't believe, but you were.
Out of pure luck.
Team Paper. Those were actually the days where yours truly, Kendrick, still played kind of competitively. But as it is, guys, we're going to focus on HGC China here right now. Game 2 between SPT and Beyond the Game. Let's go. And currently leading 1-0 and looking as super, as perfect as always. It is SPT on the left-hand side with Zhangzhao on that Vala. We have Melody C on the Kharazim. Misaka is going for that Murden. Soap is being played. Placed the Arthas, excuse me, and CZH on that Kharazim.
Whereas on the right, it's Beyond the Game with A on Genji, 619 on HGC, ZJZ on the Tyrael, MJ on the Rhaegar, and ST is playing the Greymane. So yeah, 619 has been relegated to ETC.
Can't really blame them. I mean, there's only so much you can do worse on Tyrael, and ZZZ was like, okay, I'm gonna take things into my own hands here. We're not gonna let you ruin our sanctifications again, bro. Of course, that's not what they said, but I can see the reasoning behind it. 619 on the ETC. Now we're gonna pay special attention to him here. We see the running wolf here actually at level 1.
Why?
I don't know. It's one of the smallest maps out there.
Did they plan on rotating top mid really, like, a lot early game? That's the only logic I could find here. ST's dying. There we go. Gets healed up. They try to turn around a bit to Misaka. Good stun of the dwarf toss. But he's too tanky. Too tanky this early. ST takes a little bit more damage. But good start. Big add. Good reaction times by 619 this time. Able to stop Muradin from escaping and forces him to use his trait.
Quite interesting laning setup here as well. In the top lane, we see Tyrael against Arthas, but it's not a laning matchup we're used to seeing a lot these days. 619 helping out as well, but Arthas is probably going to be too tanky to fall to an early gank like that. And all of a sudden, the Hunter becomes the Hunted with 619, taking so much damage in the process, even taking a couple of tower shots as well. That gank certainly backfired. However, ETC can use his guitar solo to heal up gradually, though. So, not the end of the world, let's put it this way. And Genji also rotated now, helping the top lane out, while Tyrael went back to base.
Tyrael did indeed go back to base, getting some health, and very rotation-heavy game so far, except for the one hero we thought would be rotation-heavy due to taking Wolf Run. MJ, please! Drops a little bit of harassment onto Misaka, and then eats a Hungering Arrow.
Yeah, and also, I mean, especially in this Battleground Tetra, Lightning Bond gets so much value because it adds so much additional damage onto those Immortals, so not having this talent available could bite them in the long run. Now, Junshao, though, gets blown up from multiple angles!
That was nice! Misaka being forced away, Soap coming in from behind though, he's getting basically everyone here. And remember, BTG are fighting under an enemy Immortal, so that was really not a great area for them to fight in. But they're able to pick up the kill on Valor, and they rush down that Immortal.
Yeah, exactly, without Vala there was no more damage available for SPT to really threaten their opponents and drive them back off the Immortal, and all of a sudden it is a clean 50-0 lead in terms of Immortal damage in favor of Beyond the Game. Now, SPT, they need to defend this if they want to snatch a kill or two, and they need to stabilize from there. In the meantime, Vala plus, who's the other one? I think Karazim, they're trying to apply a little bit of gentle pressure onto the enemy Immortal, and the arrow build Vala is really starting to kick in.
It is. No stacks yet, but it still already does a significant amount of damage. Genji into the backline, but dropping some harassment onto ZJZ. We see BTG attempting to get it down. They don't have a very good poke composition, like, at all. It's very much down to cocktails to try and get this. For now, they're trying to just skip Arthas altogether. When is the last time you saw a team dive past Arthas to dive a Muradin? That is a weird scenario.
It's the Chinese way.
Getting chased, he gets taken out.
Trait value on the Immortal.
Drop his damage there. Trait value indeed. Genji gets caught in the Immortal stun. And it's a good defense by SPT. Arthas is though. Genji will escape.
The deflect really saving Genji's butt here, causing him to get out of harm's way in the nick of time. But that was very close. I'm not sure if he, you know, baited it out on purpose or it was just a last-second cooldown refreshment here. In the meantime, though, Greymane once again on the Blue Immortal, trying to deal as much damage as they can, but they lost the race. It seems SPT defended successfully, but now they need to get back very quickly because both of their supports, Melody C and ZZ each, are out of mana. Oh my goodness,
he's right there. They don't know. He's gone. One face melt would have revealed Karazim there, but he's able to escape, and we do see BTG rotating up to top. We see the Feral Heart coming in for MJ. Why? Why don't you just... Why would you take the thing that allows you to be in wolf form for less time and then take the thing that benefits from being in wolf form a lot?
I don't understand. Also, keep in mind that the healing totem, if placed behind your own Immortal, for example, which prevents the enemy team from reaching it that easily, would be so much additional healing value. And there's not a lot of, you know, AoE abilities, bar the multi-shot from Vala, that can just kill it by accident. Like, there's no Tassadar Side Storms, there's no Gul'dan Fell Waves. I just, to be honest, don't understand this regular build. I think it's actually a big mistake.
It's the classic beginner player move of, I'm gonna pick all the talents that look the same. But like all of these feel like this is be the same. Is like the only thing I could argue is at one point you're gonna be wanting to dive the enemy Immortal but not able to. So Genji, you're gonna have to just let Greymane and Genji poke forever. So your only scenario there is to just stay in wolf form and just be healthy. And that's the only argument I can make for it. The fact that you're really hard to hit by Valor, for example. If Arthas dives you, have a little bit of extra speed to escape, which is a bit of an argument for Wolf Run, by the way. Gives you a better chance of escaping Arthas. But these two together is weird.
Especially when you're not playing on a bigger battleground, like let's say Warhead Junction, where you actually spend a significant amount of time in wolf form to really get from one lane to the other. Let's see how that Regor is going to perform as a whole. I'm not saying that, you know, this kind of talent build is going to ruin the game single-handedly for BTG, but it's definitely playing a pretty significant part in it.
Oh, he didn't even commit. Didn't even commit. Goes for cleanse. What a noob.
Where's the blood and thunder, man? You might as well have taking the triple matching pairs.
Yeah, no, he goes for cleanse, but much more reasonable. Being able to cleanse out ETC if he goes for a mosh pit, for example, or cleanse Genji away so he can keep dropping that damage.
Alright, in the meantime, both Immortals once again being deployed here in the middle of the battleground. We see 7 against 7, some poke going down left and right, but of course the poke war is always most likely going to be won by SPT thanks to that Vala and the Uther Holy Shock. Don't underestimate the Uther Holy Shock, man. We saw it yesterday, taking out structures as well. It's pretty fun build.
Fun indeed. Misaka whiffs the Stormbolt there, not able to land it. Very passive play by BTG here. They are losing this Immortal race for now via very slow and methodical poke by SPT. Both teams, they're not really trying to soak. They're just trying to... I think this is a rotation of mind games. They're just trying to work out where the other team is and where they can get an advantage. Unfortunately, they're both doing the exact same thing, so it's really hard to read.
And the cool thing about heroes like Greymane in professional play here in HGC is the fact that it's being played so differently compared to casual game modes, where Murden's normally always the one trying to go for a fight. Here, heroes like Murden are being used to disrupt the enemy team's rotations all the time, like causing confusion and distraction. Look at Melody C, always trying to really slow down people when it comes to them defending on the side lane. He's trying to bait in a couple of skill shots because he can just heal up thanks to his trade again. Now Greymane going for the flank though. Vala once again the target.
Genji a little bit low. Vala is being focused, like you said, but they can't get to her. Genji is found and sniped by Muradin here. ST being forced to retreat. Melody C is also low, gets healed up by ZJZ. And it looks like Tyrael may drop again. Tries to pull off a fancy juke, but will instead get killed off, just blows up on the Immortal.
Yeah, I mean, there was no other way, right? There was no way he would have hit any heroes anytime soon. Karzim was just, you know, dashing out. Very cool. And, a little bit of damage done, but that was the only damage they were able to inflict onto the enemy Immortal thus far. Stormbolt missing here. By the way, in terms of Muradin builds, we see a good old classic with that Perfect Storm at level 1, which actually deals a significant amount of damage in the later stages if you constantly hit your Stormbolts. And of course, the cooldown reduction, the Iron Force Momentum at level 7, so he gets more Thunderclaps on later on.
Rip Greymane.
Wow.
Went in for the attempted kill and got detonated. MJ's down the target. Stormbolt lands just before Misaka's hit by the boss. They turn on to Genji instead, and it's beginning to turn into a very rough situation for BTG. Level 10 has been hit. SPT just won the Immortal, and BTG aren't even halfway through level 9.
I think Karzim just painted a big red X on his chest for Greymane to go in on. And unfortunately, Greymane didn't realize that there was a big Earth ally standing behind that guy. And his Worgen attacks that are so dangerous didn't really deal that much damage overall because of that 50% damage reduction on physical attacks. So really well played, really nicely baited as well by SPT. And Greymane just got popped on really quickly.
Speaking of baited, Muradin actually held his heroic for a while and then just went for Avatar. So baited. Unfortunately, no cheesy moves. Kendrick's cheese radar is currently a little bit uncalibrated.
Working on it. It's on maintenance, you know. We're working on it. Alright.
Here comes the Immortal, crushing through. Very little shield left, so not the worst scenario for BTG. They're about to hit level 10 as well, so this could be worse.
Yeah, it's really nice for BTG that the Immortals are not scaling that heavily. All they need to do right now is they just need to avoid dying over and over again, because the only way they can lose this keep if they get staggered deaths rolling against them. Oh, 619. I'm not sure if that's what you want to go for.
I am currently mid-refresh. There we go. 619. Stay alive. Drops the sanctification. The sanctification is dropped this time. Genji with the Dragon Blade gets Rain of Vengeance. And that burns basically all the Dragon Blade value. Come on, stream. As we see 6... Yeah, I can't see anything.
Okay, no problem. The mosh pit was interrupted here. The Genji is about to get taken out. Jumps over the wall to safety. In the meantime, though, the Immortal was hammering down on the keep, and that was the second way you could lose it. You ignore the Immortal, and you go for a crazy dive with no results at all. And beyond the game, once again, for a very questionable engaged Tetcher. It was like they wanted to get so much out of this, but they got shut down by those Rain of Vengeance all the time. The Divine Shield was on point. Murder didn't even have to use Avatar. That's how little damage they come through.
Yeah, they weren't able to get much at all there, and as such, we will see SPT grabbing themselves a keep, hitting level 13 here, and still able to back up.
They just need to work on those engages a little bit more. 619, we don't want to put the blame hammer onto a single person all the time, but in the first game it was Turiel, whereas engages that just didn't really look that good. Now it's the ETC, the mosh pit value, very, very minimal. They're trying to go for a cheeky assault here now with that ambush. I don't think SPT saw them actually. Now they did.
Yeah, either way, they just grabbed the camp and left. So not the worst scenario here. Uther's holding his level 13. He has the healing attacks.
It's well met.
That's one of them. Yeah, finally picks it up. It was the option, like I said, it was the option between the healing auto attacks with Blessed Champion or well met. There's not enough ability damage to really justify spell shield.
Exactly. And well met, of course, is beautiful against heroes like Genji and Greymane, who are all very keen on diving in deep. If you actually well met a Dragon Bladed Genji, the amount of damage that gets produced would surprise you a lot. So I really recommend that talent. I think it's actually my own personal go-to in almost any game, unless the enemy team has like double mages or something.
Yeah, I usually, once again, just go for if there's a hard carry, well, that I'm going to get to, well met, if not, Blessed Champion, because I like the healing.
That's cool too.
BTG and Valor, these two just combine together, just rush the Immortal every single time. We're seeing that Immortal health dropping very quickly as the rest of SPT backing up. They were looking to defend their Immortal, doesn't matter. Halftime shows already available.
Look at SPT, they're just playing cat and mouse here with their opponents. They're dismounting them whenever they see them with either a Stormbolt or a Holy Shock. They don't give BTG any chances of actually approaching the Blue Immortal. That is so well played. Misaka's more than a nuisance than actually threatening anyone in the ranks of BTG. Really cool play here. Lots of things to be learned if you're a warrior and main tank player out there.
So, holding the front line, they look for ETC. Good power side here. Sanctification immediately dropped. Mosh is good, but it's on Arthas. Can they really kill him? No, they can't. Dragon Blade is good. Palm, just in case. Ancestral does land on A, though, as he finishes off Soap, finally. Able to get the target there, but Melody C finds Greymane in the backline and is able to finish him off. Moving now onto MJ, focusing him down with all of those crits. ZJZ is trying to focus Valor, but it's getting nothing there thanks to that level deficit. A in full retreat, dashes to freedom, and doesn't go down, at least for now.
That Hungry Arrow didn't hit at all. It was intercepted.
Hit the wall. He has, however, got another one, finished his stacking as well, and was able to pick up the kill.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's why you destroy walls. It can intercept the skill shots, it can block your movement path, but in the end it didn't matter. The reset, as you said, thanks to the level 7 talent nature, there was another one at the ready, and Quan Zhao in general, man, he's just the god of stutter stepping. If you saw that one, he kited Turiel, Genji, and ETC so successfully without actually overextending. Well played, and SPT, this could be the nail in the coffin. 16 is around the corner, another talent advantage is about to hit BTG, and they're all looking very wonky as it is. All heroic abilities on cooldown as well. They blew their entire powder in that last team fight, and they're now going to have to defend without some of their most powerful abilities.
Yeah, and it turns out moshing Arthas, it can get you the kill on Arthas eventually, but other than that, doesn't get you too much. Also, losing ETC at this point is a really bad idea, and as such, it's a good job they saved him. And clutch teleport from ZJZ as well, but those are big health bars, that big semi-translucent health bars right now that could be a bit of a problem if they do take any burst damage.
Greymane falls, unfortunately. The Sanctification cast on the wrong location. The Ancestor was ready, but was it ready to save the Greymane? I'm not so sure. Turiel receives it right now. Dragon Blade is being popped as well, and Genji is trying the best he can to really defend, but it's Mata. It's not enough. He needs to get taken out, and he does. Misaka dropping that hammer onto the Cyborg Ninja, and he is no more. A sad last mosh pit. Looking good, but it's probably not going to deal too much damage onto SPT, and they march towards the core. They take game number 2, Tetcher. GG.
That's going to be a solid 3 points going over to SPT, and they will continue to extend the lead at the top of the table and add hope to the 1 and RPG, attempting to steal that number 3 spot for BlizzCon.
Ladies and gentlemen, we've got ourselves a situation here. Beyond the game, I can already see the sweat on their foreheads here, because the air is getting really thin for them now. If the one wins their game today, they're already going to be behind in points, and that would be a disaster for them. They looked so good for the majority of this season, but only in the last couple of play days do they find themselves in a slouch here. And the one who we're playing later, they're going to try to capitalize on that weakness.
Yeah, so let's just quickly point this out. If the one win today, they will overtake RPG by 1 point. Meaning that in order for BTG to be the one to go to BlizzCon, they would have to beat Hot's Lady tomorrow and have the one lose to Soa.
Yeah, so basically if the one wins today and play ties next tomorrow, they're still qualified.
Yep. If the one win today, they're in a ridiculously solid position.
Yeah.
Obviously, for RPG, their best scenario would be for the one to also lose today and for them to 2-0 CE, which is unlikely, but that's what we will find out next. This will be coming up the next series after we look at the stats and the MVP screens, will be the battle for RPG to stay in the BlizzCon picture.
Yeah.
They will have to 2-0 to give themselves a chance here. At this point, now that Beyond the Game lost their last match, Challenge is safe. Because no matter what, even if the 1-2-0 here and 2-0 tomorrow, they will also have 21 points. They can only tie with Challenge, and Beyond the Game could only get to maximum of 20. Because of that match, Challenge are solidly at BlizzCon now. It is now the battle for the third spot.
Exactly. Congratulations to SPT and Challenge for representing China once more. By the way,